Good morning, everyone. One of those days where my computer was slow booting up to Zoom, but it's so good to have everyone here. And I wanted to start with, just like we usually do, with people who this is their first time at the meeting or their agency is new to coming to the meeting. I know Pamela, I don't know if you've been with us before.
No, it's my first time.
Great. Yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So, good morning to you all. I'm very excited to be here this morning to see some new faces, get some new relationships established also. I am the legal outreach associate for our mobile home advocacy project here at GBLA. I am stepping in for my colleague, Miss Cassie, this morning because she is on a well-needed vacation. She works extremely hard for GBLA, so I told her to go ahead, have a blast. I got this. But just to give you all some background on the mobile home advocacy project that we have here at GBLA, aka MAP. What we aim to do is to educate those within the community, especially those mobile home residents and owners as well as the management. And our goal is to educate them on the MRL. So the mobile home residency law is the landlord tenant law that regulates the mobile home parks, the relationship between the tenants and landlords, and also the managers as well. So I'm excited about the project. It's fairly new. It got started January 2021. So we are starting from the ground up here, and I'm excited to be here so that way we can hopefully connect and do some presentations for you all also.
Thank you.
No
Yeah,
problem.
we've definitely had some of your prior colleagues come and talk to us a little bit about some of the different GBLA programs, because you guys do a lot of different stuff.
Oh yes, definitely. And if I may, because Miss Cassie wanted me to also reiterate on this, GBLA is also promoting advanced health care directives with individuals that are 60 years and older. So if anyone is interested in that also, that's another project that we are really focused on right now also.
Great. Well, thanks, Pamela. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
So I know a couple of more people jumped in. We were just having some introductions, people who are with us for the first time. Jessica Reyes, I don't know if you've been with us before. Your name maybe sounds familiar to me. I don't know if you want to jump in and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jessica Reyes. I'm with CAPK, and I'm part of the California Violence Intervention and Prevention Program, brand new program to the city of Bakersfield, and we're working with children, students who have been impacted by gun violence in some sort of way. So we joined this collaborative to see what resources are out in the community and how we can assist the students with whatever they need, counseling, referrals to food, housing, and other things.
Oh, great. Yeah, I haven't heard of that program before. So great to have you with us. Now, is that based at a particular school, or is it just throughout the city of Bakersfield?
It's throughout the city of Bakersfield. Our referrals do come directly from the schools and from probation. And right now we only work with the city of Bakersfield. I know you guys are the mountain communities, but we still want to join and see what you guys are all about.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. All right. Anyone else new that would like to introduce themselves up at the top of our meeting? Okay. Sonia, I see you. I won't make you introduce yourself if you don't want to, but it's so good to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Sonia Neria from Fraser Park, and I just I joined the mountain community, and sometimes that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Sonia. We're really happy to have you. So yeah, well, what we're going to start with
Thanks.
today is we have our flood outreach team. They're actually in our office today, and they come up once a week to the Fraser Mountain community. So I wanted them to take some time to introduce themselves and share a little bit about what they do up here and their project. And so yeah, take it away and introduce yourselves, and we'd love to hear more about your services.
Cool, thank you. So I'm Mitch, this is Israel. We are the West Kern outreach team. So the areas that we go is Fraser Park, Taft, Maricopa, Shafter, Wasco, McFarland, Lost Hills, Button Willow. So those are our main areas. We also have an East Kern team. Their team is on Lake Isabella, Ridgecrest, Mojave, Boron, Rosamond, Tehachapi. Am I missing one?
Ridgecrest or Rosamond, that's it.
Yeah, that's basically it. But so our main job is we are a referral agency for individuals experiencing homelessness. So that's just trying to be an advocate for them, whether that's trying to get them to navigation centers, linking them with various services that they may need, like GBLA, Clinica, CAPK services, helping them get their ID, social, whatever they may need to help them on their next step of their life to get them into some stable housing. That is where we come in. Just try to help them best we can. And it's great to have Mountain Community Resource Center where we come and visit, and they have people that they can link us to, and then other various resources around the other cities we can visit and help. So it's great to have all this, and it's great to meet a lot of you and hopefully make some connections how we can help some people.
Yeah, well, I'd love for you to share a little bit kind of because you spend different days of the week in different communities, and just kind of share a little bit about like what that day looks like for you, and what you're, you know, what you're kind of doing during those times.
So our normal day, we just start out, we do have normal roster that we try to go find our normal people. And then with our program that we do, we are in an HIP program, which is a Homeless Healthcare Initiative program, and that is through Kern Family Healthcare. So our main objective is try to sign people up for healthcare services, most importantly Kern Family Healthcare, and then get them linked up with a doctor and other services, and then bring in our normal stuff as well that we do with linking up with housing. So we just start our day trying to find people. We go to one city a day. So usually Taft is on Mondays with Maricopa. Tuesday we do Shafter, Wasco, McFarland. Wednesday we are in Button Willow and Lost Hills. Thursday Fraser Park, and then Friday is our open day. So that's if whoever we meet throughout the week, we can just set up a Friday meeting date with them and do what we have to do to handle with them. But most importantly, it's just trying to get out in the community and let people know who we are, and then a lot of try to find as many homeless individuals as we can. Because a lot of the time it's hard to build a relationship with them, especially when two random guys just show up and try to make friends with you. So the best we can is just try to say hi to them and tell them what we do, and just build a relationship from there and see where that can take us. But yeah, it's just trying to to friend some of these people, because a lot of them are just, they don't know what it's like to have people in their life that truly care about them. So that's where we step in and just try to be a friend to them. And even if they just want an ID, as long as we're there for them to help them out, you know, we're all about it. So that's what we'd love to do.
Great. So I know one of the things that you guys brought up that was a real hot commodity at our office that a lot of people wanted. I would love for you to share a little bit about the ID, driver's license ID program, for people to be aware of that.
Yeah, so the DMV, we get these yellow papers from the DMV, and it's where we can fill those out and people are able to go get a free ID with it, which is great. So a lot of times, like you said, if people just want ID, we can give them an ID voucher. My partner actually has one right here, what they look like. So we can fill those out and it's sent to our office, and we scan it into our computer. So we always have it on file just in case if they lose their ID. But a lot of time what they need is an ID to start with something. You know, a lot of them want a job. Well, you need an ID to get a job, and then we also need an ID to get a social security card. So those are the two main things that really hold people back from getting a job or just moving along the line of getting into housing. So it's very important that we have these, and it's great to share these with other people in the community to help reach people. So it's a big help, these yellow ID vouchers, which we're very grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even some of the programs that we try to help sign people up for, if sometimes they don't just even need an ID, they have to have a current ID. It can't be expired.
Mhm.
And so that's just been a huge help, and something that, like I said, we got those in, and our unsheltered population up there, that a lot of them talk to each other. And so within like a few hours, we had multiple people coming in for those applications. So that's been a big help. The other thing that I wanted to kind of ask you to share a little bit about is
Mhm.
from sort of a
Mhm.
outsider perspective, from the different rural communities that you go to. Is there anything that you notice in Fraser Park that's either like, all commonalities that you see, or any differences that you see that would help kind of enlighten us in the work that we're doing? Anything that you thought of that you recognize?
So a lot of the other resource centers that are in a lot of the other towns, they mainly only deal with families. So it's very great that this place is available for people that they can come to, because there's not a lot of resource centers that can be an advocate as well for single individuals, which is great. One of the similarities, though, that is with every rural community, there's not that many resources for people. So that's where we step in and try to help people, is try to find resources in their local town. But it's very difficult, especially since we work out of Bakersfield, mainly all the resources in Bakersfield. But a lot of people that are in these small towns, they don't want to go to Bakersfield. It's either too big of a city, or they don't know about it, or some other various line. So it's very hard to break those barriers and try to tell them, well, listen, if you want to accomplish this, we have to go to Bakersfield. So we're trying more and more to get resources to these smaller communities to help with those needs. And surely, slowly but surely, hopefully that will happen. And that's with the help of the community and everyone in this panel. So everyone is aware of the needs that people have and they don't have access to. So the more and more we can advocate for them, the more and more we can have access to that, which is great.
Great. Yeah, and I guess that was the one other thing that I wanted you to maybe share a little bit about, is kind of shelters. And we have the same thing where our clients, a lot of them, they're not really interested in going to Bakersfield. This is where they're familiar with. This is where their support system is. But could you share a little bit about what kind of the shelter situation looks like if people are willing to go that route?
Yeah, so we have, I believe, 4 shelters. So we have the M Street Navigation Center, which is on at M and 30th. That is ran through Cap K, and that is for single individuals to go. Couples can go in as well. They just have to sleep in separate beds. We also have the Brundage Lane Navigation Center, which is on East Brundage. That one does have a couples dorm, which is very difficult to get into. They also have a larger male and female dorm. Both those, you can bring your pets, which is great. I know that soon they'll be expanding, hopefully, to 2 pets at Brundage Lane. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but I know that they're trying to work on that. They did just recently expand Brundage Lane as well. They just opened up a new respite care center there as well for individuals, where if they're leaving a hospital and they need a little bit of extra care but have nowhere else to go, I believe they have 19 beds there, which is going to help greatly. And I know that Kern Family Healthcare is one of the main people that is helping advocate for that to get people in there. We also have the Kern County Mission, which is for single males. And they also have a program there, a rehab program, which is an 18-month program that people can get into. The mission also has a women's help, which is a women's program, which I know isn't on site, but it is something that women can look into as well. And then we have the Open Door Network, which is now the Bakersfield formerly the Bakersfield Homeless Center. And that is for women and children and families. So I do know that some single fathers with children are allowed to go there. They do have rooms for women and children as well. And then just women by themselves can go there. And then we also partner with Open Door Network again, and that is for Alliance Against Family Violence. So we help for people escaping sexual violence, domestic violence, in that nature. And then we also now have one in Oildale, which is ran through Keepers of the Cross. It's an overnight women's shelter. They have about 4 beds. So that's great because there's not really any overnight shelters for women. So that is another one. But only the place that you can bring a dog is M Street Navigation Center and the Brundage Lane Navigation Center. Now, if they are a full service animal, I'm sure you're able to bring them into the other locations, but when we get to that point, we get to that point. But those are the main only resources that we have, and they're all in Bakersfield. Of course, there are other domestic violence shelters in Taft, Ridgecrest, and Delano, but that's only if that is necessary for those types of people.
Great. Yeah, no, definitely that comes up a lot with people wanting to have their animals. So
Yes.
that's definitely one of the barriers to them being willing to go to a shelter at times. So, well, I wanted to open it up for anyone that had questions for them about the different types of services or the things that they're doing around the county. If anyone had
guys go to all, so in Bakersfield, I don't know, I know you guys probably don't come here as often, but do you guys connect with the family resource centers in Bakersfield? Because I've talked to a few of the family resource centers, and they have like homeless individuals or families that are coming to them asking for help, and I always refer them to you guys. But they're like, hey, do you think that they would ever want to come by and talk to us? And I'm like, well, I'll see if the next time I see them in a meeting if that's something they're open to.
Yeah, so if you ever run into a family that is experiencing homelessness, they can always call 211, which is the main referral hotline that's ran through CAPK, or they can just call our office number and speak to one of us there. And there's, I believe we have 10 teams that work in Bakersfield. So if there's ever a problem, you can always, I can always give you our contact information or my supervisor's contact information. So you can always contact him, and then we can always send out a team. Now, we don't work directly with families, but we can refer them to various agencies that are more that can help them, which is like the Bakersfield Homeless Center and stuff like that. But yeah, most definitely, we will work with any family if they need any kind of help.
Great, that's a great question. Yeah, other questions? I saw a couple other people on mute, so.
Hi, Mitch and Israel. I had a question. I remember we were chatting a little bit, and I can't recall specifically. I believe you might have mentioned another document that you could possibly have a referral for. Is it just IDs, or were you guys also mentioning one time birth certificates or something along those lines?
Yeah, so we help individuals get their birth certificate as well. We do have one for Kern County, which is free. We can just take them down to the Hall of Records. Now, people are born out of state. We will pay to get their birth certificate. So we bring them into our office, and we have a lady that notarizes certain paperwork for that. So we can help people get that. Because if you're not born in California and never had a California ID, you can't get one until we get your birth certificate from wherever you were born. Now, it does take a little time to get that birth certificate, but once it does, then we can fill out an ID voucher and then help them get a California ID. But yes, we can help people get their birth certificate from anywhere and social.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Any other questions? One of the things that I was going to share, there's once a month, a general collaborative that happens out of Bakersfield. And that's where the Kern County Network for Children brings together, kind of a rotating list of presenters and resources. And the last one was focused around housing. And so I wanted to share just a couple of things that they were talking about that are super important. Of course, at the Family Resource Center, for our local community, if you encounter people who are losing their housing imminently, definitely send them our way, because we have various resources and can connect people. But one of the things that's really important is to get them to call 211, as Mitch was mentioning, because that is 211 holds the contract for the county's what's called the coordinated entry system, so that they can kind of get assessed for their level of priority and be assessed for various programs. And so, and sometimes, you know, getting on kind of a waiting list with 211 is really critical to getting kind of more sustainable support. The other thing that they shared about, they had the Department of Human Services come and present about a new housing support unit, which just started in January. So what they realized is through the Department of Human Services, they had a bunch of different housing related resources, but they were all siloed in these different programs. And so they didn't always know what was available to people who were struggling with housing. And so now they've coordinated that under the housing support unit. And at the Family Resource Center, we have a one email address that we can send a referral out to, and they're committed to getting back to families and individuals in 24 to 48 hours. So that's just something I wanted everyone to be aware of, is if you're encountering people in our community that that need, you know, housing support, they're imminently going to lose their housing. We have a couple of new kind of places to point them to, especially if they already have a DHS, you know, either a CalFresh account, a Medi-Cal, things like that. There's now this housing support unit through DHS that's going to be able to provide more direct housing services. So, well, any last questions for Mitch or Israel? Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing about that. I really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Glad we could share.
Yeah. Well, the next thing that I wanted to just talk about for a little bit and kind of gather some feedback on is our collaborative planning for the fall. Originally, last October, the collaborative voted that we would have one in-person meeting during 2023, and then otherwise we'd be on Zoom. But we did have an in-person meeting last month in April, and it was a really good turnout, and kind of the buzz was, we want to do that again. We want to have more in-person. So I wanted to kind of bring that to the collaborative and see if you would like to do that again in the fall and have a another in-person collaborative meeting. And one of the things that I meet with other coordinators of different collaboratives around the county, and one of the things that they do, most of them actually do meet in person every month. There's a few that still have hybrid or remote, but most of them do meet in person every month. Now, some of them are more are either bigger areas, or they have, they're closer to Bakersfield, so it's not quite as far a drive. But what they sometimes do, especially in the Lamont Arvin area, is they rotate around the community who is hosting the in-person collaborative meeting, so that different participators in the collaborative get a chance to kind of show their program a little bit or show their site. And so that was something that I was sort of wondering about, what the thoughts were on having another in-person meeting in the fall, and get some feedback on that.
I vote yes.
Yeah, Corey, you like that? And do you also vote to have it at El Tejon and showcase your facility?
We sure can.
Because that was kind of one of the first things that came to my mind with the community schools grant, and you know, to kind of get people out there. And I know you've shared about some of the things that you're doing, but it's kind of a different thing to see where your school site is and you know, kind of get a feel for that. So it looks like we've got some enthusiastic yeses for another in-person collaborative in the fall. So I actually did put together just a quick poll to see what month. So we meet the fourth Thursday, and we have August, September, and October in the fall. And so if we were going to, since it sounds like everyone's in agreement that, yeah, let's do another in-person in the fall, I wanted to get a sense of which date seemed best for people. And yeah, great. Okay, so thank you all for kind of jumping in and putting your thoughts into the poll. And it looks like so far the 28th of September is the highest vote getter. Especially if we were going to do it at the school. August 24th is probably way too close to school starting and just trying to get set up. So, well, great. So I'll just give that another minute to, if anyone wants to put their vote into the chat or into the poll. Great. But otherwise, I will kind of share those results. You can see that we definitely had the most requests for September 28th. So that looks like that could be a great date for that. And Corey, if that works for you, I'd love to tentatively plan that we'd have that at El Tejon and kind of get a little spotlight on your program.
That'd be great.
Wonderful.
We'll be in room 3.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're game. I'm kind of putting you on the spot about that because I didn't talk to you about it beforehand, but I think that'll be great. All right, well, and then the other thing that I wanted to give a little bit of thought to is in terms of in our local community, when we first launched relaunched the collaborative, I tried to gather, all of the local agency numbers that I could find, churches, just a variety of, local stakeholders. And we're about 2 years into our relaunched collaborative. And so we kind of have a core group that are coming and engaging. But I wanted a minute to think about what agencies feel like they might be missing from our collaborative. Especially before we have a next in-person, what are there local organizations that we should engage with and try to engage in the collaborative? What thoughts people have on that, or even some that aren't local, but from elsewhere around the county or county services. I just wanted to see if there were thoughts on anyone that we should try to engage between now and our fall. We have a couple of months where we don't have a meeting, and so we have a little bit of time to do that.
I was going to say someone that we could add is someone from CBAF, which is a great resource for veterans. So we can get them in here. That'd be great.
Yeah,
and, I know some of them. So.
Yeah, actually, we used to. They came to our collaborative. I think they came some in 2022, but I know sometimes they have turnover and change who might be the contact. So it's possible that we don't have the right contact on our list anymore. So yeah, if you want to help us reconnect with them, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them for sure.
Okay. And I see a thought about the animal shelter in the chat too. So that's a great thought. Yeah, any other thoughts on other organizations that we should kind of connect with and try to re-engage? All right, well, that's going to be kind of an open question. So if you think of anyone afterwards, you all have my email since you get it for the collaborative. Please definitely shoot me an email. Yes, Corey, I did actually add Balance Fitness Plus to our collaborative list, and I know she obviously came to the last in person, so hopefully she'll join us again as well. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, thanks for these suggestions, and like I said, keep them coming if you think of any others. The other thing I wanted to just touch base on, we kind of periodically, I sort of ask, like, what topics are you interested in having a presentation on? We are right now Claudia's working on it for us, but in the process of, there's some like topics that Department of Human Services comes and presents about. There's some topics that Behavioral Health and Recovery Services discuss, some that I think the Kern County Sheriffs. I'll be honest that there's a bunch of the organizations that we had voted on, like, yeah, we want to hear from them. I've had trouble finding the right contact. I often haven't heard back. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there just one more time. If there's specific topics that you would like to see in the fall, or alternatively, if you know of a particular contact that that you think would be great to have come and present to us on a particular topic, I'd love to hear about that as well. So if there's anyone that has anything today, but again, there's also that opening to, always email me if you think of someone. And if you go to another collaborative meeting or a specific topic focused and you hear a presentation that you think, oh, that would be really great to hear about in our collaborative, definitely shoot that over to me so I can reach out. All right. So I had one other presenter scheduled for today originally, but they actually had to bow out. And so we are gonna, I think, have a little bit of a shorter meeting today, but I now wanted to turn it over to our roundtable where you can share upcoming events, ways that you're trying to engage or resources that you provide, and we'll give everyone a chance to do that, and then I'll share some of the upcoming things that we're promoting through the Family Resource Center. So jump in.
Did you want to mention the film festival?
Yeah, absolutely, Mel. You can jump in and share about that, and I'll actually put the flyer into the chat as you're talking.
Okay. On the 20th of June, we rented out the Fox Theater, and we're showing 4 films by a Bakersfield filmmaker. 3 of the films are about veterans from Kern County, and the 4th one is about a Tuskegee Airman who's 97, who lives in Florida. I believe is the only one left alive. And it's a free event. And if you hold up the flyer, we've gotten a lot of support from supervisors and other businesses in the area that, fortunately, we have enough money now to pay for this event, and we want to make this into an annual event. So already thinking about next year, probably the same time in May, or maybe June or July next year. So it's the first time this has ever been done. And we originally planned this 3 years ago, but the pandemic, of course, put a stop to almost everything. So we just want to let people know about this. And then also, the other resource is I worked for years with Sherry Reitenrad and Taft with the Sharon and the Laborers of the Harvest. And we also provide free food, or almost free food, for the people in Pine Mountain Club in Fraser Park. So that's in addition to the Cap K and the money and the food that you're bringing to our community. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mel. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah. Who else would like to jump in and share things going on?
I can jump in really quick. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
I was just gonna say that Rick's not here today, but the car show is this Saturday. Just want to share that with the community. I don't know if we have a flyer in hand, Lindsay.
I don't have the flyer with me because he only sent me hard copies rather than electronic, but it is from 10 to 3 on Saturday, right in Mount Pinos Way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks, Maria.
Sorry, my video is not on, but I am Katie Gonzalez. I'm the Family and Community Liaison for Eltone Middle School. And Ms. Hanson had to jump out to another meeting, but we did want to let everybody know that El Cajon wasn't originally going to have a summer school offered this year because we were supposed to have plumbing done, but that is being put on hold. So we will be offering summer school for our incoming 5th graders through 8th grade. So we will get those dates out as soon as we have them finalized with the district office, but that is an option for our middle school aged kids.
Oh, that's great to know. Yeah, I know that some parents were kind of worried about, what do I do with my kids all summer?
I know we were kind of like, like unfortunately we were sad because we weren't going to be able to have them, and we were really worried about offering meals for kids who don't necessarily get that at home. So we're excited to be able to do it, so that we'll have, breakfast, lunch available to them. And Boys and Girls Club will also be on campus as far as I'm aware. And then I think we're looking into offering a coding class with Mrs. Wood, who is a 5th grade teacher. So yeah, we're excited to be able to offer it this year.
Great. Great. Anyone else?
I would like to add about the mobile home advocacy project. So I have flyers, content already ready to go. We do want to be on the presentation list for the fall also. All I'm waiting for is approval. Approval for the content. We are scheduled to launch in August, just so that I have all materials accounted for and all that good stuff. So once everything is approved, then I will get those flyers and announcements out to everyone.
Great, thank you. Yeah, anyone else? I am just pulling up a couple flyers for the Family Resource Center as well. But Jessica, do you want to, I'm putting you on the spot, but I just put the Coffee Chat flyer in the chat. Do you want to share a little bit about Coffee Chat and what we do there?
Hi. Yes. So our Coffee Chat, that is something that we put on monthly. At the moment, it's on Thursdays. And at the Fraser Park Library, this is a time for parents or caregivers of children to get together and just talk about any and all things parenting. So if anyone is free on June 8th, we will be at the Fraser Park Library and we would love to have you.
Wonderful. Yeah. And Oakley, I see that you put something in the chat. Did you want to talk about that?
Sure, thank you. So yeah, it's summertime and it's coming. So if you know anyone that may have some free time and want to help out with some social justice work, we're looking for kind of like people that would be interested in being like secret shopper, but in like housing. Give me a call. I have my number at the bottom of the flyer there. Anyone that you know that would be interested. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, anyone else have anything they wanted to share? As we've promoted this one before, so many of you are familiar that we're having our Park Day and Resource Fair. This is our biggest event of the year, and that's going to be June 17th. We do still have spots if you want to come and be a part of that. And it is, First Five, we're so grateful for First Five support. So it is going to be focused on our young families, but we're also gathering some resources that are going to be for our adults and seniors as well. And so we're kind of cross promoting it for our seniors as well as our young families and kind of highlighting different elements. But we'd love to have anyone that would like to have a booth. We are going to have some raffle prizes and things to incentivize people visiting all of the resources and so that they can just learn a lot about what different agencies are doing. And so I know several of you have already filled out the form and kind of sent that over. If you would like to be a part of that, but haven't yet, just I will drop the link to that application form into the chat, and you can join us. But yeah, so June 17th from 11 to 2, there's going to be free lunch, and that's going to be our biggest event of the year to get people out and learning about different resources, and also just having a lot of fun. So I put that link in the chat if you want to fill out an application to come have a booth. Any other resources or events that you want to share? Jennifer, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I would love to hear a little bit about, that was, as far as I am aware, the first like Clinica health and wellness fair last weekend. And I was curious to hear a little bit about how that went and that experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think it went very well. We had a lot of different partners from Clinica here from the different departments. Us from the behavioral health, and now we're here within the clinic, the medical side as well. So I think it was, yeah, definitely was our first event together with being here in the new clinic. It was good. You know, a lot of medical side people got checkups, shots, anything that needed to be done right on the spot there as walk-ins in the moment. A lot of different resources through our adult and family services were available. They had our mobile clinic here too, so we had a lot going on that day. I know us on the behavioral health side, we still have our ribbon cutting coming up. It hasn't been decided yet, the final date for that, but that's something that I will definitely share once I get that information as well.
Okay.
So it'll be our full grand opening for the behavioral health side here.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And speaking of health fair, on June 24th, that is the annual health fair that is held at the elementary school, sponsored by Southwest Healthcare District. And I was hoping to put a flyer in the chat, but we have an updated flyer for that, but I can't get it to pull up for me. So I will send that out in the follow-up email though, but that's June 24th. I know that Henry Mayo Community Education will be up there, and Melitza with Southwest Healthcare District has pulled together a lot of different resources. There's mammograms. We're taking the appointments for mammograms, screenings, and various other health checkups and services. So that's going to be 9 o'clock on June 24th, 9 to 1 at the elementary school right in Fraser. So are there any other things that anyone wants to share? Otherwise, we will wrap up a little bit early this week, and we take June and July off from meetings and do some of that for kind of coordinating and getting our schedule for the fall set. And then we'll plan on an in-person in September, and we'll have Zoom in August and October. And thank you all for your engagement and participation. And it was so great to see everyone. Yeah, thanks, Diana. Good to have you.
Nice to see you too.
Well, I guess I don't see you, Mel, but good to have you.
I know. Well, I didn't shave, so I didn't want to look like a bum, so.
Thank you. It was a nice meeting everyone.
Yes, so nice to have you, Pamela.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for joining us.
Everyone have a nice summer if we don't get together between now and then.
Yes, that'd be nice.
You as well, Diana.
Thank you.